I'm starting the stream in about 4 seconds.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Catherine Parker, County Legislator, and welcome to our District 7 Budget Town Hall. I've been doing this annually since George Latimer became our county executive. As we all know, our county executive believes wholeheartedly in having a dialogue with constituents, and I do too. And I think that during budget season, when we are tasked with making decisions for the residents of Westchester County, I want to hear from my residents in District 7. So I've tried both with virtual Zoom town halls and those that are in real life to give people opportunity to make their voice heard. I'm going to start this evening with a quick overview of what we have in for the 2024 budget. And joining us tonight, my legislative aide, John Filiberti, is joining us, and he will be helping with the presentation. After this brief presentation, we'll then give each of you or anybody who is joining and who would like to speak to an issue or issues that they would feel are important to pass along to me for the decisions being made for 2024. We will unmute you, and you will have up to 3 minutes to make your case. So with that, I'm going to get started on this brief presentation.
Okay, give me 1 second. Can you see it?
All right, I sure can.
Okay.
All right, so as it says here, the 2024 proposed Westchester County operating budget totals $2.4 billion and continues a commitment to programs that meet the needs of Westchester County residents. Now, I always like to show, we'll go to the next slide, all the different things that Westchester County does.
Hold on. I went back. I jumped a little too fast there. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes. So here are just an overview of some of the departments, not all of the departments, but some of what we do. You see the Board of Elections, which many of us utilized recently for our last election, the Office of Consumer Protection. We have Corrections, which is the county jail, the District Attorney's Office. Economic Development is one of my favorites, and recent news on the economic development engine that we have going in Westchester County is that through tourism, we see about $2 billion of revenue with tourism. Emergency services, so important to all our municipalities, a lot of coordination. Environmental facilities, that would be our wastewater treatment plants. It is also our recycling facility, the HMRF, which is for household materials. We have our human resources, and a lot of the municipalities in Westchester County rely on the Westchester County Human Resources Department to vet and give civil service exams of potential employees. We have our human rights, information technology, which is, of course, these days very much focused on cybersecurity, labs and research, which are utilized by law enforcement, also when it comes to issues like water testing and keeping us all healthy. We utilize that. Our mental health department, the county Department of Mental Health, they do everything from early intervention for childhood learning disabilities to also working with law enforcement on Project Alliance, which is ensuring that if somebody needs to call 911, and if it's really a matter that is more mental health than an actual crime, that our mental health associates are going with police to a scene. Parks, our Parks Department, we know during the pandemic, we all utilized Westchester County Parks. They do a tremendous amount. Probation Department, Public Safety, which is our police and fire, Public Works, taking care of all our roads and bridges, and Senior Services and Transportation. We have the Beeline buses that run across Westchester County, paratransit, and then Westchester County Airport. Those are just some of the highlights. Next slide, John. Great. So I put in order the departments, and as far as what they cost and what the cost is actually to the tax levy, because the first department, as you can see, Department of Social Services, their budget is $705 million, but we receive a lot of funding from state and federal government to administer these programs. So the actual department tax levy is $397 million. And out of that 397, about $240 million is the county's share for Medicaid. Department of Health, again, they do so much for Westchester County, and it's sort of the invisible department in that they are working every day inspecting our restaurants and our food services, really helping with a lot of different health issues throughout Westchester County. As we know, during the pandemic, they were so vital, and $214 million to ensure that that department is running well. Our Department of Transportation, I touched upon that earlier with our Beeline bus and the Westchester County Airport. And interestingly enough, here's where you see that the subsidy for the transportation services coming from the tax levy is $52 million. So a lot of that is actually paid for directly by the users. Department of Corrections, our county jail, $159 million. Department of Public Safety, $63 million. Department of Public Works, $19 million. Now that doesn't include the capital budget to do all the infrastructure improvements, but it gives you an idea of what it costs to ensure that that work gets done. Next slide. So just so you know, some of our county assets, we have over 50 parks, 160 miles of county roads and 86 bridges, 7 wastewater treatment plants. As I mentioned earlier, the material recovery facility, the recycling center, garbage transfer stations. We started a food scrap program for Westchester County. We have the HMRF for hazardous and hard to dispose of waste, county sewer treatment plant, and 4 county water districts. The Westchester County Airport again, Westchester County Center, and then Westchester County Office Building, the Board of Elections Building, county courthouses, the jail, Playland, and there are many other buildings scattered throughout Westchester where different departments are headquartered. Next slide. Just wanted to highlight the public safety. We have our public safety department, our police. You may see them patrolling our county parkways, protecting our county property, including the parks and the county airport. They also work with Mount Kisco and Cortland. We have an agreement with both of those communities where Westchester County is providing police for a fee from those communities. We also work with school districts throughout Westchester who have asked for school resource officers. And so we have those in several communities. We also have a year-round operation going at the police academy. It serves to train the newly hired police officers for all the municipalities in the county, and also ongoing professional development for all the officers that have been hired by our local municipalities. Next slide. And again, buses. We have 27 million passengers that use the Beeline buses, and over 65% of Westchester residents are within walking distance to a bus route. Westchester County Airport is served by, as we know, many of the major airlines, Delta, American, JetBlue. It is headquartered in Harrison, and sees a lot of traffic for our county residents. I get asked often about roads in District 7, so I thought let's show you what roads the county owns that they have responsibility for. As Union Avenue in Harrison and Mamaroneck, we have Mamaroneck Avenue, which we recently did a huge repaving. Murray Avenue was actually something that the county executive and I ensured has been added to the capital plan for 2024. Palmer Avenue in Rye, we have Playland Parkway. We are starting work, just going down the list, Midland Avenue. We will be starting work on Midland Avenue to repave that very soon. And we recently did Park Avenue, North Street, and Playland Parkway. Next slide. So special districts, our sewer system is made up of several special districts. So for District 7, and again in District 7, we have the City of Rye, we have the Village of Mamaroneck, Town of Mamaroneck, Village of Larchmont, and a bit of Harrison. No longer will I be representing New Rochelle. But the three main wastewater treatment plants for District 7 are New Rochelle, Mamaroneck, and Blind Brook. And those are set up as separate taxing entities. It's been that way for many, many, many years. And it's very similar if you live in a community that maybe has a separate taxable library district or a fire district. So it is its own taxing entity. As you can see here, 30% of capital projects really fall under the need for the sewer system and water districts. Just some of the projects that we have allocated for the sewer districts. Can you go back, John?
Sorry.
Yep, that's okay.
Wait, hold on.
Just so you can see some of the things that have been outlined for the 2024 budget. We have the Playland pumping station will be rehabilitated. It will also include plans for resiliency. We have quite a bit for the Mamaroneck wastewater treatment plant. And also some residents of Mamaroneck and Larchmont actually are in the New Rochelle sewer district. And so we have a couple of updates for that as well. And then I included at the bottom, we have many, many miles, and I couldn't give you a total right at the moment, of county sewer trunk lines. But the county is responsible for the trunk lines. Those are the main sewer lines. The municipalities are responsible for the lateral lines, which connect to the trunk lines, and the homeowners, you're responsible to connect to the lateral lines. All right, next slide. And just an overview, this was updated to show for 2023 what your property tax, where it goes. So the dark blue area, 62.34% of your taxes go to pay to the school district. 18.3% is to your local municipality. And then the gray area is that's the county operating and capital budget. And the orange area represents the special district, the sewer district. And as you can see, really the local municipality and the county are about equal when it comes to what you pay for your property taxes. And just to show you where we are with the property tax levy, for 2024, it will be the same as 2023. $542 million, which is significantly less. If you go back to 2013, we were at 548,423,000. So we've really been trying to make sure that your tax dollars are spent wisely, and that we want to be mindful that we are not asking for more money than what we absolutely positively have to have. Next slide. And just to show you some good news here, back in 2018, really property taxes were the largest amount of revenue to run county government. Now we have it where sales tax is the largest share of revenue that we have coming into the county. You can also see that during the last 6 years, we've had a jump in federal aid, federal and state aid, and that your property tax now only makes up about 22.25% of what it takes to run our government. Next slide. And the other good news is, I mentioned sales tax earlier. We share back that sales tax to the local municipalities and the school districts, so that it also can help to alleviate some other aspects of your property taxes. So as you can see, we have shared a significant portion with the local municipalities. That's really nothing to sneeze at. Next slide. And I'm sure for those of you that are wondering, there's no increase to the Westchester County property tax levy for 2020. Next slide. Fiscal stability. I'm very pleased to see that we've been very focused for the last number of years on good governance and fiscal stability, and really being very disciplined about no borrowing for tax certiorari's, no borrowing for pensions, no use of fund balance, and no borrowing just for just our regular cash flow. Next slide. Now, hot off the presses, and even as of 5:40 this afternoon, the news is that the Fitch has rated Westchester County as a AAA. So we got back our AAA rating from Fitch just today, and you know, the rating agencies, Standard & Poor's, Moody's, they've all been watching to see you know, how we have been managing in Westchester County. We had been downgraded because of practices from the last administration. As I say, we've been really working on being very disciplined, and it's been noticed by the big three. Next slide. Great. I mentioned earlier the fund balance, and you can think of it like a rainy day fund, but it is now about 23% of county operating expenditures. And this has been noted by the credit rating agencies as certainly a sign that we have stabilized our finances. Next slide. Now, the bad news. There is a tax increase for District 7 sewer districts. The increase is for New Rochelle a little over 11%, Mamaroneck 6.444, and Blindbrook 6.054. Why are those increases? Some of the reason has to go back about a decade ago, when Westchester County and 14 municipalities in Westchester were under an EPA consent decree. We had to spend approximately $750 million on necessary infrastructure upgrades to cure the pollution that was going into Long Island Sound. And so we are paying a significant portion of debt service, and that, you know, just has been lasting, and the work continues to happen. So that explains a good portion of what is in that tax levy. And as I said, being that it's a separate taxing entity, we cannot just take from our rainy day fund and put it to the sewer districts. That's not allowed by law. And it's the same situation if you think, if you're in Mamaroneck and you have the Mamaroneck Library, for instance, and we know, you know, the newspapers have been reporting on the fact that they found out that they didn't have as much money to pay for operations as they thought they had. There was no way for the village to give from their budgets to the library funds. So this is very similar to that. Next slide. Flooding. This is I think some of you, that's an area of county government that you hope that the county will be there to partner with your municipality. We have been partnering since 2009 to help local municipalities with their local share for flood projects. Next slide. For 2024, we are creating a new position for Westchester County. We will have a flood czar. And as you can see from this quote from our new planning commissioner, Blanca Lopez, that the 2024 operating budget responsibly addresses the urgency felt by residents and property owners alike with respect to flooding and the effects of climate change. The resiliency position and the programs included in this budget will assist the county and municipalities to establish recovery plans and help vulnerable county residents impacted by natural hazards to receive immediate assistance. Next slide. And some other new initiatives. We are looking to increase the county share of the local share for the Village of Mamaroneck, the Army Corps of Engineers project. We had a placeholder in there for the Village Army Corps project of $12 million. We know that that number has grown, and we are looking to increase our number to reflect what will be essentially the 50% share of that local portion. We also expect that that will help cover once we get approvals and once the Village of Mamaroneck has approvals to begin phase 1, which they've identified and the Army Corps has identified as the Ward Avenue Bridge project, Center Avenue Bridge, to remove that for the Village of Mamaroneck. The next item, $500,000 for Murray Avenue, is that's Murray Avenue, as I mentioned earlier, is a county road. We had funded $300,000 for the town of Mamaroneck last year so that they could do a stormwater drainage study. And our expectation is once that study is completed, which should be in the early part of the spring, that we can then take that and incorporate the recommendations for Murray Avenue and the stormwater system there into our plans and our infrastructure project for that area. Next slide. Last year's budget, I had included $5 million for studies for flooding for different municipalities. Last year, as I mentioned earlier, the town of Mamaroneck received $300,000 to do that stormwater study. The Village of Mamaroneck has asked for they're doing 2 separate studies. And so I have included that on my list, both totaling $150,000. And then for the city of Rye, they too are doing a stormwater drainage study, and 50% of their portion is $250,000. So that will be included. Next slide. Just to give you an idea of some initiatives that have been started that we're continuing. We're spending 20 million or have in the budget to spend 20 million for 2024 on EV charging infrastructure for county parking facilities, and also to do a grant program for different municipalities and nonprofit organizations for EV charging stations, $5 million throughout the county. Next slide. Affordable housing. So affordable housing, every year of the Latimer administration, we have put more money towards affordable housing, and we've actually increased the number of affordable housing units to over 2,500 that have come online, and there are another, I think, 4,000 in the pipeline. So a pretty significant number of new affordable housing units throughout Westchester. The fund now, between the Flex Fund and the New Homes Land Acquisition Fund, totals $100 million. So that is an increase from 90 million, which was the amount that we had set aside for the 2023 year. Next slide. And back to emergency services and public safety. We put this as a real priority, and we have full funding for all budgeted positions throughout that. And one of the new initiatives, the ongoing threat assessment management program, is going to be funded in 2024. Next slide. And as you can see from the Corrections Commissioner Joe Spano, keeping pace with our staffing requirements directly impacts overall facility safety and quality of life for both our employees and residents. Next slide. Our mental health department has, over the years, we've had several really exciting initiatives that we have introduced in Westchester. I mentioned Project Impact, which again was working with local municipalities and police forces to have mental health professionals go with police to different calls. This is another new program, Outpatient Clinic Expansion Program. It'll be a pilot program to expand outpatient clinic capacity to address existing waiting lists and capacity issues. That's almost $1 million there. Next slide. The HERO program, incentivizing volunteer membership in fire and emergency medical services organizations, has been a huge success in increasing and maintaining membership in these critical first responder agencies. That's a program where you get, there's a tax credit involved, and it really has helped to drive membership for our local municipalities. Next slide. And now we are done with my presentation. So this is the important part. I really want to hear what's on your mind. You have 3 minutes. And John, if you would fire up the first speaker. And I will ask you, if you would like to speak, raise your hand, and we will then unmute you, and you have 3 minutes.
Okay, first one, Gary Zuckerman.
Supervisor Gary Zuckerman from the town of Rye. Very good.
Hello, Catherine.
Hi, Supervisor. Thank you for joining.
My pleasure. That was a great presentation, first of all. And I want to thank you for being such a great partner for the town of Rye. You and I have worked well together, along with Nancy Barr, who represents the other part of the town of Rye. And it's really a pleasure for me to come here and join you, because, as you know, when you work in municipal government, whether you're a town, county, or at the state level, it's so important for all of us to work together. And I know that in the town of Rye, we've been able to leverage both county and state funds, as well as federal funds through CDBG and the county, to make projects go. So I wanted to thank you for that, and to keep up the good work.
Yep. Thank you. That's terrific. I appreciate that.
I do have one question based on your presentation.
Sure.
You mentioned the sewer rates. I know that there was a proposal to study consolidating the sewer districts under former board chair Mike Kaplowitz. I haven't had a chance to speak to Mike recently about it. Do you know if there's been any progress with that as yet?
So I did speak with Deputy Commissioner Kaplowitz about that recently, and I think that we are expecting in February or early March, we will be hearing from our consultants who have been working on the feasibility study for it. They were doing some a secondary study on the environmental effects and the cost without doing a consolidation program, what the cost would be to the 4 municipalities. That's New Rochelle, in the New Rochelle Sewer District. So New Rochelle, Pelham, Larchmont, and the town of Mamaroneck. And we'll hear more once that study is in. And I know that at least in my district, the town of Mamaroneck and Larchmont are very eager to hear more. And I think they've been very encouraging that this would be a great direction to have the county sort of take that, take all of the lines for the sewer district. Seems to make a lot of sense. And so we will hear more, I think, in, as I say, February, probably early March.
That's great. Thank you. That's a very complicated program, as we know, and it's if we can make any progress, it would be terrific.
Yes.
So thank you. And thanks again for the presentation. Very enlightening.
Good.
Okay, next is going to be Meg Kaufer.
Hi, Meg.
Hi, thank you so much. Catherine, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. And I really want to first start by thanking you because you have been a huge advocate and supporter of the work we do. I just wanted to talk about the importance of the continued inclusion of support for the Connect Westchester initiative, which is our county's groundbreaking commitment to digital equity. The STEM Alliance has trained digital navigators go across the county to meet those with needs, to provide them digital tools and skills to participate in our digital world. And digital equity is really a pressing issue in our county. It's a super social determinant of success for both fragile community members living in poverty and for what's known as ALICE populations, asset limited, income constrained, but employed. People really living in that struggling, employed, but can't quite make ends meet. And we have over 45,000 residents without a computer and 55,000 homes without sufficient internet access, primarily because of affordability. So our program, thanks to your funding, helps us get Chromebooks in the hands of those who need them, assistance with enrolling in the federal affordability benefit, which gives those who need a $30 benefit. I just really wanted to applaud the county's support because this work is truly driving a difference and it's transformative. 81% of the people we've served report that they're better able to manage their money and personal finances, and 74% report being able to use the internet to save on money. Like, we use the internet for cost savings. So if you can't access that, you're losing out. And 91% reporting that they're more confident using computers overall. So we really are just asking for you to continue that support. All of our work is done through partnership with organizations in the communities that are in District 7, such as the Community Resource Center and libraries. So the problem of the digital divide is complex, but the solution is simple. And Westchester County is the only county that we know of in the state that has stepped forward with this truly global solution. And we really want, to continue with confidence that the county is going to get behind us and that there will be federal support coming in the coming years. And we want to maintain the program.
Yeah, you run a great program. And I think for the world that we live in today, the need for computers, the need to be able to work the technology, to make doctor's appointments, to get jobs, all of that, so important. And I really thank you, Meg, for all the work that you do throughout now Westchester County. You might be in my district, but you do a lot of work in all the other, cities of Westchester and the other areas. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine. I know that all boats rise on the same tide, and your efforts towards equity are truly commendable. Thank you.
Okay, next is going to be Michelle Logan. 1 second.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Catherine. Yes, everything you said, your presentation, fabulous as usual. Thank you so much for all that you do. I would love to ask, like I was looking at moderate income apartments in New Rochelle. I know that's not your section any longer, but they had studios. They had total number of affordable apartments, studios, 5, and the rent was $1,800. What? Like, who could afford a studio for $1,800? If, you're in need of an affordable, that's not affordable. So I know that y'all have already set money aside to do affordable housing in our area, but I'm praying that you understand that that's not affordable,
Well,
sorry, and the 1-bedroom was $1,900, huh?
I do understand. And I will say this, I just sent out an email last week on a different building in New Rochelle, and it was, at a different point of the average median income. And so it was, the numbers were much more favorable than the numbers that you just mentioned.
Okay.
But yes, the idea of affordable is a bit subjective.
Yes.
And we are very committed to helping for people in all different levels, and there are some new things coming on that will be certainly at a different percentage than the building that you just mentioned.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything.
Okay, next is going to be Tony Gelber.
Hi, Tony.
Thank you, Catherine and John. Catherine, it was the first time I saw your budget thing. I'm very impressed. Also, thank you very much for all the continued help you give the village of Mamaroneck. I know you've come to my flood meetings many times, and you've heard our flood victims. I'm not going to, explaining what happens here. And we really appreciate that, that this Army Corps project has been stalled a bit, but the costs have gone up. So we appreciate you putting more money in for that. And then we really appreciate the 150 for the studies, because we're hoping that we can really do 21st century watershed projects with the retention and the detention. And the other is that the graphic you showed on the Columbus Park, the Army Corps wanted to make that a closed tunnel. And we just felt that was not appropriate either aesthetically or practically. And so Kate DeHaas and I came up with this open channel and greenway kind of approach. So we think it's modern green 21st century infrastructure. And thank you very much. And it's always a pleasure working for you. So thank you.
It's great working with you. And I hope you saw that we had the graphic that you and Kate had done for that.
Yeah, I did see it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was great. It was up there. Yeah, very good. You get an A+ for that.
Very good.
Okay, next we're going to have Kevin Miller.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Harrison resident since '99. Definitely appreciate the effort you're making here to obviously share the budget insights and connect with constituents. My area of focus, my biggest concern right now is related to kind of public safety. Unfortunately, I joined this call with an extremely heavy heart at the moment due to basically the recent passing of Giancarlo Yepes, who was found in Portchester. He was a longtime Harrison resident, graduated with my son, class of 2019. And it's just something I never really thought I would ever have to think about in Westchester County, being here since '99. It's been such a great place, and it's been a tremendous loss for the community. And just a great young man, worked at Whole Foods Portchester. Obviously, went out on Thanksgiving Eve, and definitely the stories are out there on News 12, etc. But really,
My
the
condolences to you, by the way,
no,
since obviously this is hitting home.
it should be hitting all of Westchester County, unfortunately, because obviously, as I focus on public safety, and that's part of your budget, and I know it's kind of a support effort to the local police departments and politicians, etc. But obviously, Portchester is a town with Colony Grill and Bar Taco and Bona Bona and the movie theater and stuff like that. So this is an area that's heavily populated with young people. Young people love to go there. It's a great waterfront, especially in the summertime. So I guess from, hopefully, obviously there's nothing good that comes out of this situation, like I said, and hopefully it doesn't become a trend. But obviously, public safety, I would think, is something that, and obviously with the fentanyl stuff and things like that. And again, obviously this is an investigation that's still ongoing, but I would just, my reason for tying this to the budget discussion, and obviously appreciate you making yourself accessible, is just to really think strongly about not only that area, but also just if there's ways that the county can kind of provide support in these situations to either the local police stations, which I'm sure they do, or think about ways to make the public safety better in those areas, because obviously there's potentially something there that might become more of an issue. So,
And again, my condolences. And I will just add that I think with, and I don't know all the facts. I've just read some of the newspaper articles, but we do have a county marine patrol. I do think that they were assisting with Portchester. And I mentioned our labs and research, which is utilized by the local municipalities so that they can solve crime, and we work together. And so, these are vital services that Westchester County provides as support for the local municipalities.
yeah, and my hope is obviously that this is just something that never happens again, ever. So again, like I'm thinking about that area, and clearly, and again, obviously the final police report and coroner's office has not yet been publicly made, but this was a really good, hardworking kid. So we'll just have to wait and see. But obviously, I think for all Westchester residents, that it's a great Costco. It's a great area. Like, I think public safety is something that we have to think about as everything evolves. So
I hear you.
thank you.
My best to you. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, next is going to be Pam Dubitsky.
Hi, Pamela.
Hi, Catherine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. I really enjoyed your presentation, and my condolences in connection with the story from the previous speaker. That's terrible. So as you know, I'm the chair of the Parks, Recreation, and Conservation Board. We're a 10-person board. We are appointed by George Latimer. We advocate on behalf of the 18,000 acres of public parkland in Westchester. Westchester has a fabulous park system. It's the only accredited park system in New York State. We have 50 facilities, golf courses, pools, trailways, so much more. You have always been a very strong advocate for our park system, so I want to thank you always for that. We really appreciate your support. And also our board makes decisions. We make various decisions, but one thing we have to do is we approve fees, and we also approve capital projects for the following year. We've been doing that based on a master parks plan that is now basically complete, and we're ready for a new parks plan, a new master plan. County Executive George Latimer and also the Board of Legislators, this Board of Legislators has been very strong supporter of reducing a large backlog of capital projects that we had from the previous administration. So actually our park system is in very good shape now. But we have completed basically that master plan, And we are in a position really now to start preparing a new master plan. And I'm here tonight, as you know, and you've been supporting me in this, to urge the Board of Legislators to include a permanent parks planner position as an add-on to the 2024 budget. So this was a position that has been in the Parks Department for a century, basically 100 years since the Parks Department first started. And it was transferred out of our department 2 years ago. And I'm urging the Board of Legislators to put that position back into the Parks Department, reinstate that position. And our goal is to have a permanent parks planner position within the Parks Department, someone who is specialized in, has specialized expertise and training in parks, in new trends. There's so many new issues that are coming up in parks. And as you know, since COVID, since lockdown, our parks have been heavily, heavily used and more people are using them than ever. So we really need someone who knows the new trends, who's got real skills and expertise, can focus really on creating a new master plan for the next 10 to 15 years for our park system. So I am urging the Board of Legislators, and again, I appreciate your support. And I'd like to just encourage the other legislators to support this too as an add-on. I know that Monday is add-on day. So hopefully other legislators will also support adding on that position as a permanent position within the Parks Department, a parks planner. Thanks so much, Catherine.
No, thank you. And thank you for the great work that you do for all Westchester County residents as the chair of the Parks Conservation and Recreation Board. You do amazing work, and I think this is a very reasonable request, and we will see how it goes next week.
All right, thanks so much. We have a very, very special park system, and I'm not sure most people are aware of that, but it takes a lot of work to maintain it and to look to the future. So we need someone who can really specialize in that. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Thomas Sullivan.
Hi, Thomas.
Hello, Catherine. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Thomas Sullivan, and I'm the Executive Director of the Westchester Children's Museum, located on the historic Playland Boardwalk in Rye. Many of you on the call tonight, as well as you, Catherine, are definitely intimately familiar with the pre-COVID efforts to establish the Children's Museum in the North Bathhouse building on the Playland campus. But many are not necessarily aware of the recent successes that we have been experiencing. This year will see 75,000 visitors in 2023, tripling any of our visitation records from our past. We're now at a 1,400 family membership base, more than doubling previous membership records. We're now open 7 days a week, 9 to 5. We have many new additional hands-on exhibits and daily programs, and we are ready, accessible, and able to serve the children, their families, and the schools in this region. So I'm here this evening to request the consideration and support of the addition of our inclusion into both the capital and operating budgets for the county for 2024. George Latimer and Ken Jenkins both visited the Children's Museums in the spring and summer of this year and asked us to submit capital requests for the remaining augmentations and restorations necessary to the facility. And as you know, you especially, Catherine, have been incredibly helpful over the past decades with this, that ours is a collaborative public and private partnership. Us, the Children's Museum, as a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization, and the county, both investing millions to bring our historic national landmark building back to a usable public space. So we are seeing in so many wonderful and exciting capital improvements happening over at the Playland campus, and we at the Children's Museum would love our building to be included in that as well. In addition, I'm here to request the consideration of our new initiative, the Family Access Membership, to be included in the 2024 county operating budget. This program allows us to create an entrance point for the more than 22,000 children in the county facing economic disparity in low-income, under-resourced circumstances. The Family Access Membership, or FAM for short, is the new financially equitable entrance point to our annual membership with the Children's Museum. It mirrors our highest and most inclusive level of membership, membership priced at $250 for the year, but any family that holds a WIC, SNAP, free or reduced lunch, or state health care can purchase the exact same $250 membership for a 90% discount, just $25 for unlimited access to the Children's Museum for the year. We've recently launched this program with the help of the Child Care Council, Family Services of Westchester, the YMCA, and many other direct service agencies who are working directly with the families that the FAM initiative will serve. And we're hopeful that the county will consider the Children's Museum request to include 1,000 FAM memberships in the 2024 budget, helping us to launch this incredibly special new program. And I've overseen similar financial equitable memberships in other children's museums I have served in, and I've seen the firsthand of how incredible impact of the diversity and inclusion in the audience of the Children's Museum can serve. This year has been one of growth and celebration for sure at the Children's Museum, and 2024 could be even more meaningful with your continued support. And we are truly appreciative. I know you have come to visit us many times, but anyone else on the call who has not yet, please, we are open and ready, and we would love for you to see the joyful learning that happens within our completely unique and hands-on learning space. And we look forward to continuing our partnership to serve the children and families in Westchester together. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak, Catherine.
Thank you, Thomas, and thank you again for doing such a wonderful job with the Westchester Children's Museum. It really is a jewel in our, for the complement of amenities that Westchester has, and your leadership has just been phenomenal. I think that these requests, certainly rise to the occasion given the work that you have been doing. And again, I have those on my list, and we'll see how next week goes. But I did both the capital ads and then I do think this program, which does really tackle the equity and inclusion issue, is really important. And it's just a great facility that gives children an opportunity to learn and grow. And happy to support you.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
I think we might, I do not see any more new hands up, Catherine.
Okay, great. So for everybody that's still on the call, this is going to be archived on the LMC channel. It'll be on their YouTube channel. And it'll be emailed out to constituents so that they will have an opportunity also to hear more about the county budget. And just to give a timeline for when the county budget is passed, Monday is what we call Ads Day. That is the last day that anything can be added to the proposal for the 2024 budget. Friday is called Deletes Day because there are things that we sometimes have to take out of our 2024 budget. And then on Monday, December 11th, we will be voting on the budget. So that is the schedule. As I say, we will be emailing this presentation out. And thank you all, those of you who spoke, for participating. That'll also be seen by other viewers, and thank you all for participating. And thank you, John, for running the presentation.
You're welcome.